Hi, thanks for being here. My name is Chad Murphy. I'm Executive Director of the United States Bowling Congress, but have been operating the youth area for the last few years. I'm kind of excited about this seminar. We really think that this is one of those ones that can have a deep impact. If you're in this room, you believe in youth bowling, right? Everybody's probably passionate about it. You want to drive more kids to go bowling. How many of you were in the seminar right before this one? All right, so let's start there. How many of you have more kids than you can handle? Right? Well, these guys up here behind me are really experts in this space. I say it all the time. I'm not a guy that has all the answers or even thinks that that's even possible, but what I like are experts. I love talking to them. I love having conversations with them about it. I always feel like, man, if we just have the experts around and we ask the right questions, right, which is an important part of it. If we ask the right questions, we should be better after the conversation. It doesn't really matter what you're talking about. In a widget of any kind, a product, something that goes to market, if you ask the right question of an expert, you should be able to get an understanding, and that's what we're here today. So I'm going to ask these four folks to introduce themselves as our panelists. Please start by just giving them a round of applause for participating. Mr. Mike?
We even on? Okay. My name is Mike Hillman. I'm with Cloverleaf Family Bowl in Fremont, California. It's Northern California. I've been fortunate enough to grow up over 40 years working for our family, and I learned how to bowl in a time where youth bowling was our future. That was the message, and that's the message we still have at our center. If you don't have youth bowling, you're missing out.
My name's Melissa. Ooh, I'm loud. My name's Melissa Morrow. I'm from the Buffalo Lanes group out of Raleigh, North Carolina. We operate 5 centers, and I am in charge of all the youth bowling and all the coaching now for all 5 centers.
Hi, my name's Ray Beatty. I'm the general manager of Joma Bowling Company. We have 8 bowling centers in the Midwest. Youth bowling is the most important thing I do.
Frank Wilkinson, Rabs Country Lanes, New York City, greatest city in the world. You are here, and I applaud you for being here, but youth bowling is not just an insurance policy. It is probably the biggest insurance policy we have in our business. It is how we continue to grow bowlers for generations to come, and it's a big part of our business for many years.
Okay, you've met the players. The format of this seminar is really, really simple. You have a question and they answer. Roger's got a microphone on that side. I'll run this side. Whatever you want to know, these are the experts. So all it's really incumbent of you is to ask the right question. I'm going to start with one because I know it's going to take a little while to get going. But what's the secret sauce inside your program that makes your center successful? Anyone can answer. Recruitment of new kids a lot. I mean, it's a continuing process. We never stop at that. Always recruitment.
But how do you do that?
How do you recruit? Okay. Well, basically, you got to have I think before you can do anything, you got to have a system that you stick to, and systems produce products. So we receive products from the national and stuff like that, so we plug them into our systems. An example, the 8-for-8 program probably brought a lot of new kids into bowling centers. We tagged that with our 101 program, merged it together. So about every 10 weeks, we put on a new 8-for-8 101 program, and the only way you can participate in that is you've never bowled league before. So every 8 to 10 weeks, we have new kids coming in. We've had as many as 55 show up for a class, but we'll run them with 2. I mean, but it's an ongoing process. But the system had to be in place for us to be able to do that. So I hope that answers your question.
So Ray talks about a system, right? A program that they come into, one that they graduate to, one that they exit to. Not just one program in the marketplace, but 3. Always 3. The one that they came from and the one that comes next. Anybody else?
Yeah, to Ray's point, it's consistency, continuing to have offerings that they know to come into your doors. Offer a program Wednesday afternoons. Continue to offer that program. Move year by season after season. If they're going to walk in the doors in the spring, they may not walk in the doors in the fall, but if it's a day that works for them, keep consistency within building the system, within your ladder. Always have that opportunity available to them, and that's something that works for us. If you look at the gamut, I think we offer 40 youth programs all year round, and it's constant. And we roll a lot of those kids over and introduce new ones in different seasons, but we're always having that opportunity for them to walk in the door and be a part of something.
We're really big on coaching. We make sure that we have certified coaches, not on every pair, but they're pretty close. But we have something for the kids that as they get better, we have a program in place. We run a junior gold program, and as they get better and they strive to see the other kids and they see that they get to go to bowl nationals, they get to bowl these tournaments, but it really keeps them involved and it keeps them engaged in youth bowling, and it makes them better. And then they come in for the coaching, and it's just, it has just completely taken off for us as far as that program. So we have our regular Saturday morning program, but then we have something for them to do, once they do get the coaching and they get a little better, and it has tremendously helped our business quite a bit.
And all that, and our center, a lot of it's communication with the families. It can be as easy as a 6-foot table in our concourse year-round with youth information, birthday party information, something that they can walk by and pick up easily. We have found that it's helped us a lot to really communicate with the families. You have to give mom and dad some information, and once they feel like they're part of it, then they want to help out, and they want to be a bigger part of it. And I won't go there. I won't ask him to stand up, Chad, but the first step is to get up out of your chairs and make an effort to improve your youth bowling program. It's as easy as that. You have to get up and you have to try.
Okay, so it doesn't happen very often, but I want to thank you for coming. We're all finished. You're consistent in your offerings, recruiting new bowlers into your skill instruction and coaching environment. Then you communicate all the great things about your program to your parents so that they come back. How about a big round of applause for our panelists?
Yeah.
Thanks, Chad.
We're done?
And nobody's going to believe this, but that was not scripted. They did not know the question before I asked it.
No, but we did ask.
No, he did ask what the questions were, but they did not get an answer.
We keep, you're talking about like statistics and how they improve and all that. Yes. I would think that's pretty general.
Because the reason why kids continue it's more on in this case, it's more on the parent side. Parents, if they see their children excelling in something and doing better, they're more apt to keep their child in an activity. If they don't see them any excel rate, or even if they're having fun, they're more apt to pull their kid out and put them into another type of program. Let's try soccer. Let's try baseball. Oh wait, let's try bowling. If they haven't gotten something out of another activity, they're looking for it somewhere. But if you capture them and you've given them the skill set to be more, the parent is apt to keep them there. Without it, I think, and the research would certainly back that up. Mm-hmm. And it's word of mouth is how that happens, right? So parents that have kids that are in your program succeeding in what they do and excelling, those parents are, of course, going to talk about it and help build our programs. Listen, of course, we're all making it sound easy, but it's not. It's all in everything. It's after activation.
What's about creating a culture of teaching? From the introductory at the recruitment stage all the way to the kids that are bowling continually and picking up, even at the highest level, there's a culture of teaching that's available to them. And more so than anything, the parents realize that. And actually, that's who we're talking to most of the time about this, is the parents. Because even for those of you that are parents right now, you're going to invest if you see your kid getting better. So.
Chad keeps on asking if you have more kids than you can handle, and in a sense I have that situation. The reason being is that I don't feel I have enough qualified coaching or supervision or whatever you want to call it. You guys have any secret on how to get these people? Because normally you'll get the dad that, what I call the little league dad that does nothing but holler and think he's great. I'm just having problems getting qualified people.
actually went to some of my adult league bowlers and kind of built my base from that. Some of their kids bowled in our program as well, but I went to them and most of them, we paid for their level 1 coaching certification. And then if they chose to do bronze or silver, we have staff members that are bronze and silver coaches, but if they chose to do that, then they did pay for that themselves. But that level 1 and teaching them, I've just recently started teaching our coaches how I want our kids taught how to bowl. And our coaching staff is on board with it. They were very receptive to it. And it means that all kids are now being coached the same. You don't have one person over here telling this kid how to bowl like this, and then over here you have him on the other side telling him something else. Now it's strictly the same across the board, and that has just changed for us recently, and we've seen a big improvement in our coaching staff.
So one of the tools that we've used to build out our existing coaching program was going back to our high school bowlers and our existing bowlers that are there that want opportunities to volunteer and be a part and give back at the same time while they're participating. We asked these kids, they wanted something to do, they were starving, they needed some extracurricular activity, they needed oh my God, out of my credits, they needed service credits, thank you. Yeah. They wanted to get involved in something. So we took these kids, we created a curriculum, we put them through coaching programs. We went from having 5, 10, we have 80 kids that volunteer their time all year round from the age of 12 and up that give us their time. And so in some cases they're glorified babysitters, right? We're looking at, if you start with your peewees, you bring them up, at the same time we're giving them the skills. And that has given us the platform to ask our adult league bowlers. We have an untapped market of our senior league bowlers. They're there, they're willing, they're looking to do things, keep themselves active, keep social. We've had several, they in between themselves said, hey, let's go get somebody, why don't you coach with us? And I think we're at 20 of our senior bowlers are now coaching, and they absolutely love it.
We also have, I'm from the Triangle, so we have a lot of universities right around my area, but we have two of our universities go to 2 of our centers, and they have bowling teams. And so their bowlers come in and they help us coach on Saturday morning, and in return we give them, they get to bowl, they get to practice 2 times a week for free. They don't have to pay for practice at all if they come in and help us coach on Saturday morning. So again, if you have the access to those university or any bowling clubs that are on that level, that's another good idea to use.
You know, we provide our coaches with 5 free games for coaching, so it's a little bit of payment for them. They get to come down and practice when they want for them or their family, but we don't have that parent who wants to come down and scream and yell. We mostly have parents who are very involved. We go to our high average adult bowlers as well to help coach. And kind of touching on something that Frank was mentioning, the community service hours. I mean, just by a show of hands, how many do like Kids Bowl free or some part of that program? And how do you feel like you do a good job getting to those bowlers? They just come in and bowl free all summer and out the door they go. We're going to probably utilize our community service hours a little better this summer, put some kids down there in our youth bowler t-shirts, put them on the lanes, pass out flyers, talk to some of those kids this summer, and see if that's going to help grow some of those kids. Because we are a 44-lane center, so we're wall-to-wall with kids in the summer program, and it's hard to get out there and touch them all. So I think we're going to utilize those kids who need the hours and make them work. I could use some of that free labor.
But, I really don't think we can ever reach the numbers that we want until we do get mom and dad engaged. And that's why, we're working on things to do that. I know AYSO Soccer does it. And you see mom and dads getting involved. And when we start putting things together where mom and dad is comfortable teaching the game, we'll see some amazing things start taking place. So there's some people working on this. So.
Roger's got one, and then over here.
To go back to your recruitment, you said it's a culture. Is that culture based on your entire staff? Do you teach that to your staff as well, the commitment to go recruit, or is it just you have just a few people that are in charge of doing that?
When our facility that has the largest program, basically there is a youth director, somebody that's involved in that. The recruitment side didn't really start getting and start having until I engaged with it. Once I started engaging with it, it started taking a different shape because my staff seen my commitment to youth, and when they seen that, it became contagious, and then the culture started changing and they wanted to be involved with it. So,
but I do think that your staff members need to know the programs that you're willing to offer for kids. I mean, you're not there all the time, so they are the ones that are standing there that need to be able to hand out a flyer or answer a question when someone asks. They should know the answers to it. So,
yeah, as part of our employee training, we expose them to everything that we do,
right.
And that's a big part of what we do. And you build that culture around everything. And it's difficult because we are a lot of things to so many different people, right? Mom comes in date night looking to get away. Dad's bowling one night. Kids doing birthday parties. All these different things, and we're in charge of that venue. But within our staff, if they're exposed to everything that we do, it's contagious. And if they see it and understand it and feel it, they're more apt to be at the counter, be on the floor, talk with others. It's all within our training and building that piece of what we do. It works. It's not quirky. It really does work when you make it happen.
Going back to with the question with coaches, we have a couple of our adult coaches that are certified coming down with the kids, but we find that they're typically just sticking with their kids while they're there in the center. How do you overcome obstacles like that?
I actually don't allow my parents to coach their own kids. If they are a coach in the bowling area, they can coach on the pair beside them. They can coach in another. Most of mine want to coach in a different division and be able to come down or go and see how their kids are doing. I don't have any issues with it. And like I said, those parents that are there to coach, they're there to coach on Saturday morning, and they don't coach their kids. I just don't allow it. And I don't get any backlash from it at all. Well, I mean, I haven't yet. So.
They're there for a reason. They're happy to help.
Yeah.
And we just we politely let them know up front, hey, these kids right down here could use your... And you put it in a positive light. Hey, you've got so much here to add. Do me a favor. These kids really need your attention. If they feel real welcome about what they're doing, they don't really care who they're helping. They're just there because their child's there. You have their attention.
And I do have kids that will just latch on to coaches. And so that coach will come in and he'll kind of stay with that team and move with them from week to week. And he gets another team, obviously, every time he does that. But like I said, we don't have I haven't had any issues with parents.
So as far as the inside sales go in the center, that works out well. But can one of you speak to how you're doing sales outside the center for junior bowling?
Bowlopolis is a big thing for us. I think you guys, I'm sure Joey talked about it earlier about Bowlopolis. We do that about 3 weeks before our youth registration. I know Frankie does a whole day of it. I found out yesterday, which is very different. But recruitment for Bowlopolis is huge. They come in the bowling center. It's free bowling. We capture all their data. But we also have my coaches are there. I have some of my youth bowlers that are there, kind of put them in the middle of the bowling center, spread them out a little bit, give them a tour of the back, and as they come back up front, they are passing my youth table, my birthday party table. I mean, anything that has to do with youth bowling in our center, they pass right by it. So they are given that information. And like I said, Bowlopolis, that's social media. It's Facebook, it's Instagram. The mommies groups pick it up. It gets on the media, it gets on our CBS station. So again, it's just a matter of how you advertise it.
Yeah, we use the Bowlopolis brands to outside bringing in. We do a blast off community. We do community days, which have been our biggest draw outside in and. Schools are willing. We have in-school bowling kits. If you don't have in-school bowling kits, it's one of the best programs that we have. But outside of the schools, we provide those kits to any local community event for free. If they choose to man it, we give them the equipment. They take it. They get some volunteers. The kids will run it themselves. That opens a conversation to everything else that we do. We go out to events, county fairs, these school events. And sometimes for a small fee, we vend. That is probably one of the biggest tools that we have. We go out, we actually bring the event, we bring the activity to them, and opens the gate to conversations. And you wind up seeing the same kids all day long. Hey, I want to go back. I want to go back. I want to go back. But then you're listen. Give them a free game of bowling, and they're coming in your doors. Those events there, you can do so much, and they're willing to see you, talk to you for free. Just give your time. You get some staff, and a lot of times they'll use their own staff. You just got to talk to them. But community events have been our big outside sales.
All right, I got 3 quick questions for you guys. You shut me down right away. So you all can take a turn at this. I noticed you guys are multi-centers and large centers, okay? If I could get a raise of hands, how many people in this room have 12 lanes or less? Okay, not quite half. All right. So as a small center, you talk about marketing, okay? And how would you go about marketing in a small center, small town, 1,000 people, 1,500 or whatever? That's one. Number two, I believe in coaches. You talked about coaching and having coaches on the lanes.
Let's do one at a time.
Let's do one at a time.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll address the one.
All right.
We do have some smaller centers that are basically in the only game in town. So basically, those managers or promotional directors get involved, like we talked about, with community, things involved with community. Anytime kids are involved with that. So I would assume that most of you are 12-lane center. You probably are the only game in town, possibly. So if you are, to get more involved with the community and let them see you as a recreation facility to help them in anything that we want to do. We've had some success in the smaller centers doing that. So
I look at it this way: we are a community place, right? By natural form of who we are and what we represent, we are the community place. We're the outlet to get away from everything else that we do. So take that and move it outside the four walls. Whether if a 48-lane center, whether my marketing budget is larger than a 12-lane center, you can take the same concepts and ideas and make them work for what you do. You don't have to go out and spend a lot of money to execute and do something in a small market. Because you talk about small centers, you may be 12 centers, you could be 30 lanes in a very small market. It's the same thing. But you could take these ideas and trickle them right down to what makes it fit for you. Talk about community, talk about free events. It's not much in our budget.
If I could add, I actually was at a 16-lane center for a few years, and it's the same technique. You want to make sure you communicate, you're talking to people. Just putting a flyer on a counter doesn't always work. We actually have to talk to the people. And I was more involved with, you've got to hold the scouts in the area. There's not a school in our area then or now that calls and asks for a donation that we're the easiest sell in town. They may want a few free games of bowling. Well, how many kids are going to participate in your spellathon, your walkathon, your show-up-a-thon, whatever they've got? And we provide a free game for every kid. If it's 700, 800 kids, we want to make sure we give every kid something for participating and trying. And some proprietors, they get nervous, they get scared. I'm giving it all away. And that's not true. You're getting such a small percentage of those back. But what you have is your name in their hand on a regular basis year-round. And I can't even begin to judge how many birthday parties that has brought us, or just casual bowling on another day. We just keep a 16-lane center. We did it. You just kept putting your name out there, and we had a full house, 16 lanes of kids.
It's all great answers. So I believe in coaching, and so you're all volunteer coaches. But in the end, do you compensate your coaches? Because without those, your program doesn't succeed.
Yes. Well, they're not paid cash money. They get to practice. They get a practice card, and they get to practice for free. They get free lunch on Saturdays. But at the end of the day, it is very rewarding, and they'll all tell you that. It is very rewarding what they do to kids and help kids bowl. And they've never asked. I would pay them, but it's just something that we've never had to do. It's very rewarding for them to be able to do that. And free practice for people that bowl goes a very long way.
Yeah, you can incentivize them any which way. We extend our employee discount to all of our volunteers that give us time. We do pizza parties every so often. Yeah, small groups, big groups. They're just saying thank you goes a long way. Yeah. You're right, because you're being fulfilled by doing this for those kids, right? So it's a rewarding experience in itself, but at the same time, you want to feel appreciated, so and you want to extend that. So thank yous go a long way. We do little parties. We do stuff. They really don't ask to be paid.
Right.
And when they afford to pay another 100 people.
And when they see those kids succeed and they know that they had a part in that, you don't have to say anything else.
And you give them a shirt that says coach.
Yeah,
exactly.
Awesome. Another good answer. And last but not least, at what age do you feel is a good age to start a youth bowler?
Can I just throw this one out there? We have a problem with USBCs trying to deal with right now because my youngest youth bowler, it won't accept the year because he's too young. He's not even 2 yet. He'll turn 2 next month, and he's bowling because he comes from a very bowling-oriented family. So he sees them bowling and he wants to do it. So we have, in our center, we do a 1-game bumper league next to a 2-game bumper league, next to 2-game non-bumper, all the way across the house. And another, I thought was kind of a feel-good moment. We had a 3-year-old start bowling last weekend, and when she got done bowling, I was standing there and she asked her mom, "When do we get the pizza and the cake?" Because she's used to coming down for birthday parties for her friends, and so she associated bowling with pizza and cake.
Chad, we did get that 2-year-old registered, did we not?
I hope so.
We have, my youngest is 3 years old. In my bumper program, they only bowl 2 games, and it's pushing it, but they get through 2 games. They're not. They like to run around a little bit, but 3 years old is my youngest.
Again, that's why our center, we have a 1-game bumper league next to the 2-game bumper league, because we know some of those kids can't do it, but they see their older siblings bowling and they want to do it. And the proprietor side coming out, that's revenue they want to give me more money, and I'm telling them no because I don't provide a 1-game league. So we provide a 1-game league. There's most of the proprietors here, right? So you get that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's funny because I think we'd all start them at that age, but we talk about it a lot, but research shows otherwise. Should kids be doing an activity when they can't hold the ball, when they can't do much? So I wouldn't ever tell you to say, hey, start your programs at 8 years old. But statistically, when you look at youth sports, we're not at 3 years old, but we provide that outlet for them to do. Our youngest is 3.
Yeah, and I think most of that start out that young are siblings. Their brothers and sisters bowl. So
That's to answer your question. 5 probably, as far as physically, it's a good age, but we have accepted kids. It's up to mom and dad if they want to be participating.
Hello, my name is Johan from Sweden, and I would like to ask you what your opinion is about giving the kids bowling balls. When they have their own bowling balls, they are more addicted to playing bowling. How do you do in your center?
So my youth program, we do the 8-for-8 program, which is a phenomenal program where they get the bowling ball at the end. But for my Saturday morning kids, we have some kids that come right out of a blast off and bowl our Saturday morning league that don't have their own equipment. 2 times a year, I run a bowling ball raffle. We call it our yard sale. We have adult bowlers that donate bowling equipment, and siblings and older kids donate their older bowling equipment. And they raffle the tickets off for $1, and if their ticket's drawn, they get that bowling equipment, that bowling ball that they won. Raises money for scholarship. I just finished one. I raised $670 for a scholarship account by buying used bowling balls. So again, and then the pro shops give them a deal on the plugging and the drilling and all that stuff. So again, there are several programs that you could do. 8-for-8 is a phenomenal program.
I tell you, put the ball in their hand as soon as you can.
Yeah.
It is one of the most successful programs that we've been operating in our centers for over 40 years. Start them in, get the bowling ball in their hand. What we do now is we actually offer a bowling ball upgrade with every youth program. We're not even discounting the price. We list it as introductory price, a special. We make them feel special because they're joining a program, but we're actually not discounting the price, and it works very well. Just offering it to them if they don't have it, or they've grown out of the existing equipment. But put the ball in their hands, they're going home with that bowling ball. It's the best story you got.
Do you guys run the traditional winter season, or do you guys run other stuff? You run an 8-for-8, but is it normally the 30-week season, or you guys always run short seasons just to...
Our leagues runs 34, 35, 36 weeks. We split the season in half, and we put recruitment leagues, 8-for-8s, every 8 weeks. So when they complete, we can roll them into an existing league that started a new session. So it works pretty well for us. So that's part of the system I talked about. It's just a league structure, and we can roll introductory stuff into it if they want to move on. If they don't want to move on, we've actually taken the 8-for-8 and formed a 201, which is more advanced, and then from that we're introducing a 301, which introduces them to league play. So we have taken something and we just keep adding to it as we see the demand requires that. So
I run so one of our centers runs a traditional. It's the biggest center we have. It runs a traditional Saturday morning program. They bowl 28 or 30 weeks, just depending on how all the holidays fall and snow. I'm in North Carolina, and if it snows, the city shuts down. So, and then our other centers run 17 weeks. So they'll bowl 17 weeks, take a couple weeks off, have a blast off, and then bowl another session. But again, our big center does just traditional bowling. We do Saturday morning bowling, and then we have a sport league that bowls during the week for the kids that are the higher average kids.
And just real quick, we do the same thing. We're 17, 18 week, we're tri-season, and basically we're catching the kids that might be playing baseball this season so they don't bowl, but then they come back in the next season. And we've been tri-season for about 40 years. That's just how we run our program. The only one exception is we have a junior scratch league. That's usually 14, 16 teams of trios. They're a little more committed to bowling, so that's a regular winter league season, which in our center is 37 weeks.
Yeah, we have a travel league in the afternoon amongst all the people on the island, so we have that. But now, do you run, like, some of the programs run tournaments right in the middle of their regular league season? Do you guys encourage that, or
Yes.
do you think just regular instructional is the way to go?
So our programs range from 4 weeks at a time to 28 weeks at the max, and there's 8-week programs, 10-week programs, 12-week programs, 17-week programs, all within. And we are seasonally based 4 times a year, but some of them overlap. So start mid-season based on, it's kind of a combination of all of it, based on baseball season, softball, baseball season, football season. We kind of look at the other sports and build some of those other programs based on the age groups. So the offerings, again, consistency, they're always available for us. But we do in-league tournaments all year round, not just when our association is running their championship tournaments late fall, late winter, or early fall. We will continue and do in-league activity spring and summer. And it's a big part of what we do. It's introducing them to competition at the next level. And whether you do it in league or take them out of the league and compete at other times or in other centers, it gives them an opportunity to compete with other kids just in a different mindset.
Mm-hmm. Our owners are very good. They support youth bowling all the way around. And we run, it's called a Buffalo Youth Championship, and it's in October every year. It's the weekend of, one of the weekends of our state fair. So it's a dead week for the bowling center, a dead weekend for the bowling center business anyway. And they're in divisions by ages or by averages. And I mean, we give out $5,000 in scholarship money to, throughout the divisions based on the number of entries. But it's a tournament that those kids look forward to every year. They know that weekend in October that Buffalo Youth Championship they're going to bowl that. It's a $15 entry fee, so it's very minimal. And then they run other tournaments throughout the year, but that's our big one for youth. And that's just structured into our 5 centers.
And I'll just real quickly add, so Chad, it's okay. We certainly encourage tournament play for the reasons they all stated. In our association, we have different tournaments. I'm also involved in what's called the Youth Bowlers Tour, and we run an event. I run an event about once a month. We have had a couple months off. 4 divisions. There's a handicap division, there's a girls scratch, and there's 2 boys scratch divisions. And we award scholarships. We started that in December of 11, and I think we've had 36 tournaments, and we've awarded about $160,000 in scholarships. But we get over 100 bowlers per tournament, and we just move it around Northern California, bounce it around. So there's a need for it.
I have a question. What would like the first steps to getting into the schools be?
So I run a program called Lifetime Sports. It's the high school PE classes. So they actually bring their kids in during their PE class. They bus them in. They bowl 2 games. Their shoes are included. And we only get $2 from them. And they are sanctioned, so they're available for all the scholarship money and everything. We have 5 high schools that are fairly close to us. But the business that we get on the outside of that, we have they sign up for Saturday Morning League. They become junior gold bowlers. I mean, that's a program that has taken off. But the thing to do with the schools is go to a PE teacher first. That was our success. We had tried several times to go to the principal of the school, the county athletic directors, and we just could not get in the door. So we just kind of bypassed them all, and we got involved with one of our PE teachers, and that was 1 school, and now we have 5, and we sanction 1,100 bowlers a year. So
$2?
Oh my God!
I'm kidding.
I will tell you something that we did in our marketplace. The proprietor leadership in the city actually went to the school system and actually paid for coaching at the high school level when we introduced high school bowling. And part of that requirement of that was us being able to flyer the school system. So we were able to get in the school system. But there's all kinds of different ways. You can utilize the national office as far as they can assist you and get you information to the schools. And that's important to utilize that. That is available to all of us to to be able to utilize them to give you information to get into the schools. So.
Outside of providing in-school bowling as a free complement and offering to schools, which is probably our number one opportunity to get into a school, offering fundraising programs for the schools has been our number one driver to talk to schools to do anything, whether it be field trips, whether it to be put in-school bowling, whether to donate the carpets and do out community events. Just opening the conversation of how they can raise money for their programs through PTAs, PTOs, anything they're looking to do has certainly opened the doors tremendously for us. And that's offering nights where they get 5% of the sales. We sell them gift cards. They can sell gift card programs. They can come in, run a bowl-a-thon event. But fundraising has probably been our number one opportunity to talk to the schools.
Okay, I have a maybe 2 or 3 part question. Our Saturday Youth League will get lots of kids to sign up. I'm sure everybody has issues with kids who are playing other sports during Youth League season. So they'll have Saturdays where they can't make it. So certainly we offer pre-bowling for the days they can't make it. What we tend to run into, though, is we may have 70 kids signed up for Youth League and 25 of them are pre-bowling in any given week. How do you combat that? I mean, I think the issue for us is that you'll have kids that they've got 4 people on their team. They may show up and they're the only one bowling because the other 3 pre-bowled, and so then they're done way ahead of everybody else. I know that it wouldn't be fun to bowl in an adult league if you were the only one bowling, so certainly it's not as much fun for them. Is there a way that you can combat it? Certainly we can't just tell them, oh, well, if you don't bowl on Saturday, you can't bowl, because, I know that there's weeks that you just can't be there. But I think that another thing that we run into is just the parents don't want to get up and bring them in the morning. So they know they can pre-bowl, so they take advantage of it and they go ahead and pre-bowl in the middle of the week.
So one of the things that's worked for us, we don't allow pre-bowling or post-bowling for those events unless it's an extreme emergency.
Against USBC rules.
But they're part of a team. They're part of a youth sports model. We don't pre-participate in soccer. We don't pre-participate in baseball. They don't exist in other programs. We've always allowed that because we feel that, we don't want to lose this customer per se. What we've done to combat that, we've offered them, we give them a discounted rate if they can't come, so it's half the price of the traditional, the week's bowling, and or give them a pass to come in and bowl at another time. We don't use those scores for league play. It incentivizes them to be more active in the program. It's worked very well for us.
We do allow pre-bowling and post-bowling, and they have to let us know in advance unless it's a dire emergency. But with the pre-bowling, they have to schedule it with us. And so with them having to schedule it around our schedule now, as far as around our adult leagues and things like that, they can't do it past 6 o'clock. Once we limited our timing of when they could pre-bowl, that really helped cut down our pre-bowl. And again, we don't have a big problem with post-bowling because we make them schedule it with us and tell us in advance. So maybe just scheduling a time where they can will maybe not be as convenient for them to be able to come in and do it. That's what helped us out.
Okay, my other question is, if they don't bowl, do they still pay? Because
Yes.
any adult league you do.
Yes.
Yes.
Ours is half the fee, just like Frank's.
So some yeses and a no.
So Mike's got to know. I'll answer first. Mike's got to know. We do 2 types of price structures. Most of our programming is all inclusive. Pay up front at the registration, and those are for our short season programs, whether it be 25, 120, I think the top is 175. Our longer season programs, 28 weeks, we charge a large registration fee, but there's a weekly fee. In this case, we charge an absent fee. But there's still skin in the game and incentive for the parent to want to bring their child to bowling. We've tried both ways at discounted and full price. To be honest, they'll pay the full price. So we just do it as a courtesy. We've noticed it doesn't make a difference what we charge when they're not there. They know they can't be there.
Our junior scratch league we talked about earlier, their guaranteed league, they pay whether they're there or not, because that seems to be the league where they're teenagers. I don't feel like getting up on Saturday morning. 10 o'clock is really early, and then they weren't showing up. So they pay whether they're there or not, so they're there now. Our other leagues are what we call non-guaranteed. If they're absent, they'll just pay an absent fee, which covers like the trophies or scholarship fund, whatever we have, pizza party. But if they pre-bowl or make up, then they will pay the full price. But we don't. These are kids; they want to bowl, so we don't really have that issue where they just don't feel like it until they're teenagers.
And we're to our Saturday morning program, they pay half the fee, but our sport league that bowls, they pay the full amount. They bowl a singles Peterson Point League, and they pay their full $12 every week if they're not there or not.
Okay, and the only other question I had was, do all of you charge registration fees for pretty much every league?
Yes.
We charge $25 registration fee except for the introductory program, and then it's just a $4 registration.
I'm a $30 registration fee for their first league, and then their second league, because we have an in-house awards program, and so the only fee they pay to join a second league is that awards program fee. That's it.
Ours is $20. It includes the USBC card. We also, in Northern California, have what's called the YBA, a Youth Bowling Association, which has an awards program, and includes a T-shirt, and their weekly fees will include the pizza party at the end.
The key to a registration program, they're willing and knowing paying it for any activity. Mm-hmm. Build in as much as you can up front. That way you're not going after them and asking for money at other times. You should never go to them and say, hey, we're going to register the program with USBC. We want to buy a trophy. We want to do this. Build it all in. Make it easy for yourself. And everything that you provide is inclusive of the program. It's part of what you do. So when the parents and the kids are participating and the parents are accepting for the kids participating, it's just, oh wow, I bowl in this program and they do this, and this for us. We're not going nickel and diming them. We're not asking for other things. Fundraising is another element, of course, but for your program itself, keep it simple. Include everything, and it's easy. Trust me, it's easy on us.
The only thing that I do differently is for tournaments. I have some families that have 3 and 4 children, but once they get our Rising Stars tournament and our Pepsi tournament, the city tournament, state tournament, they just can't afford to pay all that money up front. So we allow them to have some accounts set up inside of our bowling center, and they'll pay an extra $10 a week. We'll put that money up for them, and so when it's time for tournament pay, we've got the majority of their money already collected. We're just helping the families out just a little bit. So, and we keep up with that money for them.
Great, thanks, guys.
Bob from Charlotte just phoned in. Bob wanted to know.
Chad would like to know.
When do you? Lots of centers still only run Saturday morning programming. When do you offer it?
Well, Monday nights during the summertime we do an adult youth pizza, 5-member. That's on Monday, and Tuesday nights we do what we call a uphill battle. It's on sports condition. Basically on Wednesday we have an afternoon session which is actually set up kind of in a camp format where teaching is being done, and then we have even during the summertime we run a Saturday program, and then Sunday we have a program called Around the World where every week the kids are bowling under international conditions, so they get to experience that, and that's mostly the older kids who participate in that. So basically almost every day of the week we have something going on. So.
Yeah. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Different programs, different times for different folks.
I run Saturday morning program, and then Tuesday evenings is a sport league in the fall. But in the summer I give all my coaches a Saturday morning off. So I run a sports shot league on Monday night, a regular youth league on Tuesday night, and a youth adult league on Wednesday night. And I still have the same number of kids that I would have on Saturday morning. I run pretty close to the same number, just splitting them up over the summer and giving the coaches and the parents the Saturday morning off in the summer.